Jackson Podcast.
What's good with y'all today? I think I got a very compelling conversation because, we're living in an age and a time where people are consuming mass media from people that are not journalists. So, with that being said, what are some of the platforms that you look at, that you value, that you think has substance? Because we living in times to where me and Guy Jackson had this podcast conversation on the last episode that we did. And make sure you go subscribe to his channel, the Guy Jackson Podcast. He has dope conversations over there. But we had this discussion because I was talking to him about Stephen A versus athletes in media, and Stephen A being the last in media that is actually a real live journalist. So I was talking to him about how the original journalists, the people that went and got degrees from journalist schools and colleges and stuff, are upset with the athletes, the Shannon Sharps, the Charles Barkleys, the Podcast P, the Carmelo Anthonys. LeBron James is even doing a podcast. It's not traditional media. And he brought to my attention that Elliott Wilson is upset with the Joe Buddens, the Cameron and Mace, the Math Hoppers, the people that is getting the attention that was once a part of the culture, that is of the culture, that participated in the culture. But what I got to say about that, and also my perspective, because I participated in hip hop, I've released 15 albums. I've worked with BG, 8 Ball MJG, Zaytoven with a couple of beats, Kingpin, Skinny Pimp. I've collaborated with quite a few people, and I do take pride in being objective because a lot of people lack the information. They're biased, they're subjective in their conversation, and they speaking with feelings and emotions, and they are gaining an audience of minions of people that agree with something that's not reality. And when I look at these platforms, they be talking, and the things that they're talking about, they have no substance on it. They haven't researched it. They don't have no notes to where they can qualify for what they're saying is actually authentic and is actually real. It's not even enough information for you to have a 2-hour conversation about it, 2-3 hour conversation about it. But people will assume for 3 hours. They will be assuming shit. And I think that this conversation about non-journalists harming media is relevant. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's get into it.
We are in an unprecedented era as far as athletes in media, athletes controlling their own media. Like the relationship now, I don't want to call it new, but like unprecedented would be the word. We were just a part of a conversation not too long ago. Draymond Green but he says this generation of athlete doesn't respect this generation. We've had endless conversations about player podcasts being healthy for locker rooms, this, that, and the other. You obviously are part of NFL media and the Good Morning America crew. Where do you sit in that?
It's hard. When Saquon was going to his last year with the Giants, he called me and he wanted to know if he and Sterling Shepard should do a podcast during the season. And my opinion was, if you think that you're comfortable enough with doing it, then you should do it. But the only problem is, if something goes wrong, if you're not playing well, if the team is losing, you still got to show up and do it. Right? And I guarantee you, they're going to blame you. And a lot of it in this of doing something away from football as your focus is not on the game. Personally, for me, it wasn't worth it. And I look at all these guys now and respect to you. It's a different world. It's a different game. If you can get a podcast, if you can do it, this new generation, do your thing. I hate on any of them, but you better make sure you don't mess up your primary worrying about something secondary. And I see so many guys that are worrying about a secondary job. I want to build a brand. I ain't worried about building a damn brand. I just was being myself.
Right. Being the brand.
Yeah. I just, when it came to getting on TV and doing things and I just did things that were fun to me until they eventually turned into a career. I didn't actively go out and say, well, I'm playing football, I'm going to pursue a career in TV. Never once in my life on my mama did I say that. I literally was like, oh, Hey, oh, you want me to come on and do this? That sounds fun. I'll do it. And next thing you know, these fools offering me a job. So I look at guys now, and I think so many are so focused on the next chapter of life when they're not getting the most out of this chapter. And that's what freaks me out. And so for me, when I play football is everything, man. And my teammates will tell you, I was all in. We're in practice. I'm 6 years old when I retired. I didn't take days off. I didn't say, Rook, get in there and take my reps. I didn't. They threw the ball 20, 30 yards downfield. I didn't just stand there and watch. I ran my ass 20, 30 yards downfield because I'm the leader. And these guys, if we're going to win, I have to show them how to win.
Right.
So every day for me was important. But now that I don't do that anymore, now I can transfer that energy over to what I'm doing now.
So how then, because you've said a couple of things that sticking with me. Shout out to you. You've been a terrific guest.
Thank you.
You started the conversation talking about how you respect your peers and guys that are looking to expand and grow, right? We just talked about how you got to be present in the current chapter and not so worried about the next chapter and these brand things. But do those work together? Because you just told us how you were sold out, locked in over the course of your playing career. And now we're in a space where we're having conversations about mental wellness and all that and where that falls into the landscape of competition. When you talk about being all in, but also being able to develop, how did that work in tandem while you were building this Hall of Fame career?
I honestly think it worked for me because I was focused on football, and being great at your craft in this city made people pay attention to you when you had other things that you brought to the table.
Okay.
And if I weren't a great football player, I would have been another guy on the Giants who had a career, who came through, who didn't expand on it because I was just another guy who came through.
Got it.
I realized that playing and being great at it, that was the best thing that I could do, but I wasn't even thinking next level. It just kind of came with it. And I also feel being nice, being consistent. Man, I tell you, I hate these cats. When I see you in one spot, and you over the left, I see you in one spot, and you cool. Then I see you in somewhere else, and you're a completely different person. Maybe you're a different personality. I don't know. That's not for me to judge. But just tell me that when I meet the first personality, so I don't expect it when I meet the second guy.
Right. Or tell me you got 4.
Yeah, tell me you got 4. Trust me, I had teammates who were 4. Yeah, you only split, right? But I like consistency. And I think for me, being consistent, like you see me here, you see me later, I would be the same. I don't trip.
You know, I used to do a podcast with my boy, Troy Smith. Go check out his book too, man. The Mindset of Successful Thinking. Troy M. Smith, The Mindset of Successful Thinking. He used to talk to me about being consistent so much. And I had so many other things going on in my life that I couldn't be consistent with a dream, something that I wanted to make happen, podcasting, something that I wanted to be successful at, podcasting. And, I've grown to be more consistent over time, but I'm recording podcasts at a time that's not normal for the average person. So I understand what he's saying about consistency and focusing on the main thing, prioritizing the main thing. When I think about that, I think about how people were starting podcasts in 2020 and they're no longer here no more. A lot of them have stopped. A lot of them are not successful. A lot of them had high expectations and went and bought buildings, thinking that they are becoming the new media when hip hop culture has shifted. And the ones that was doing hip hop commentary, anyway, like the Math Hoffers and the No Jumpers, who recently announced that they're broke. Math Hoffa recently lost the barbershop. And I think about people that went to school for it, people that are educated in being objective, people that speak in a ways that a lot of people don't like because they want to hear it from someone normal, somebody that they can relate to, somebody who isn't speaking it in a professional manner. But these platforms, if you're not evolving your platform, it's not gonna last, man. It's not gonna last. So you have to be consistent at what you're great at. You have to focus on the main thing. And like I was saying about the 21 well, I was about to say 21 jumper, the no jumper and Mad Hoffa. When COVID hit, everybody numbers was high. Everybody was doing their thing on podcasting and they was doing numbers and expecting it to go on forever. But you're not ESPN, you're not CNN, you're not Fox News, these things that been around for hundreds of years because you're not doing it in a professional manner consistently. So what I want to say to that is do what's in your best interest, get you a following, an audience and everything though. But man, if you stand in on one thing and you focused on one topic and it's working for you, stay consistent at what you're good at. But keep evolving, keep learning, keep educating yourself so you can continue to be better. Let's let the conversation go a little bit longer.
Rip, I don't change. And I think it helped me build sincere relationships with people in business and people just in New York.
Yeah.
I never asked anybody for anything because I felt like I'm taking care of myself by handling my business. And post-football, it has helped me tremendously because these relationships have evolved. Some have evolved into business. Some are strictly just friendship. But I find that just being a good dude, man, being a nice person, treating people with respect, really being interested in people is the greatest gift that you can give yourself because that makes people in all walks of life want to be around you. People want to do business with you.
As far as the athletes and like what they doing off the court and on the court, it's becoming a tandem now. On the flip side of what you were speaking on, somebody like Draymond Green does it, right? And like we respect it, right? I mean, I only can speak for myself. I respect it, and here's why I respect it. To your point, he's able to go out there and play. He's able to go out there and compete. He's able to go out there and do whatever it may be, good, bad, or whatever. But also, he's able to go on his show and speak about it and like take accountability, majority of the time, right? He looked the question in his face, like he don't run from the actual question. And I think being able to do it that way, that's the only way to work as an athlete, as an athlete that's playing today. If you're not willing to take the criticism and deal with it when shit is going bad, it's not going to work. Don't even think about doing it.
You got to face up.
Absolutely.
And okay, wait.
And for Draymond too. Draymond has been playing a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't doing this in his first few years in the league.
No.
Draymond knows what he can do, how he can turn the switch on and off when he needs to, and he's able to compartmentalize now. When you're a young 20-something-year-old player, man, I don't think you're ready, especially if you're truly committed to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Could 7 p.m. in Brooklyn have existed while you were still playing?
No, because I didn't like talking to the media.
But this would have been your control.
No, I was just locked.
Okay.
Why didn't you like talking to the media?
So I just ain't like them. I just
it's a podcast. Come on, give me more.
I just say I had to think about it. I just did. Let me take that back.
Eddie.
It wasn't that I didn't like them. Like when I was in Denver, it was cool. It was a couple media people in the locker room. You know what I mean? It wasn't, so I kind of grew up with that.
It was one motherfucker he hated, bro. He just, the name is right
I can't
there.
remember the name. It is. I just can't remember the name. But when I was in Denver, smaller market, I'm growing up with the success of the organization, with the media, with the city. So it's like you don't really have to deal with a lot of it. Some you get people that, try to poke and try to get something out of it, but you understand we evolving as together. The Denver paper was evolving, we was all evolving, and everything is coming together. So we can hold each other accountable out there both sides. Now, when I come to New York,
first media scrum.
But I was, to his point earlier, I was already prepared.
Okay.
Coming to New York after speaking to Jeter, and he like, listen, I'm gonna give you one advice. Don't read the media. Don't listen to the media. You'll be all right. And from that moment, I started going through it, but I started observing who was what in the media scrum. So now you understand how to approach each individual media personality. So they playing the game, and you also understand the game that they playing. So that's why I've never went back and forth with the media in New York, because I just knew the game, and then I knew the people who were saying it and the people that wasn't saying it.
It's interesting hearing him say 7 p.m. in Brooklyn couldn't have exist while he was playing because, he was a hell of a player. He was locked in. He faced a lot of trials and tribulations. And salute to Carmelo Anthony, man. He's about to be a Hall of Famer. Salute to Dwight Howard too. Both of them deserve to be first ballot Hall of Famers. And I love his platform. I love what he's doing. And the media is strange what they do because they play on the minds and the hearts of the people, but they speaking to what's going on in the world and what you're giving them. They can only speak about what you give them. So with that being said, I want to read the definition of a journalist, and then I want to talk about something that Michael Strahan said, and I'm going to get up out of here, and I want to know y'all perspective in the comment section about what y'all think about non-journalists harming media. So the definition of a journalist is a person who gathers information in the form of text, audio, or pictures, processes it into a newsworthy form, and disseminates it to the public. So you have to be researched. You have to be knowledgeable about what you're talking about. Or your career can end as a journalism just talking on these platforms. That's why we're not going to see a lot of these people that's successful right now or that's getting traction or the algorithm favors them because of what they talking about. And they're trying to title the stuff and put imagery up to make you get interest so you can click on it. Because I guarantee if you look at a lot of people's analytics, the title and the imagery is what made you click, but you didn't look no longer than 30 to 45 seconds and you got up off of there because it really wasn't of your interest because they wasn't talking about nothing. Now, what Michael Strahan said before I get up out of here, he said, you got to be a good person and build relationships. For some people, I think about how Math Hoffa has lost his shop and how Smart left. The guys that created Bag Fuel left. The OG, I forgot his name, that used to give game on there all the time, left. He was killing relationships. What I'm going to say about me, I'm an introverted person. I love people. It's hard to build good relationships because when you don't do something and you tell somebody no one time, they lose favor in you. They talk bad about you. They don't want to work with you no more. So speaking to people and when you can't do what they want you to do, it's a challenge. That's really a challenge when you're trying to build a business together that's not even a profitable business at the time. So that's just interesting that he would say being a good person and building relationships. And that's key because the reason these athletes are thriving in the media space, these rappers are thriving in the media space is because they got relationships with the people who are trending, who are viral, and they can get them on their platform to converse. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Let's further the discussion in the comment section. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.